Eskom Board Chairperson Mpho Makwana will be leaving the embattled power utility. Public Enterprises Minister Pravin Gordhan has announced that Makwana will step down at the next annual general meeting scheduled for end of October. The ministry says current Eskom board member Mteto Nyathi will act as chair. In fact, he is chair now. For more reaction, we are now joined by Hohm Energy Head of Business Intelligence, Matthew Cruz. Matthew, there's been some reaction tonight. We've been speaking to a number of people, but I wonder from your vantage point, is this what Eskom needs right now?
So, yeah, thank you for having me on the show, and hello to your viewers. So this is definitely not what Eskom needs at the moment, as what's leading now to the situation of being in a leadership vacuum. That's a term that's being used to describe Eskom's situation, with now neither a CEO or a chairperson of the board being present to really make decisions. Yes, we have a interim chairman of the board, but the situation now seems to be spiraling out of control a little bit, in my opinion, of kind of people leaving Eskom while there's still time to leave Eskom. And it makes me think about a phrase during my time at Eskom before I left, of kind of rats leaving the ship. Those that can leave will leave and have left. So that's what we're seeing more of now, in my opinion.
And I'm going to ask you, as someone who was once inside, how much of what we are seeing right now from the statement by the Department of Public Enterprises should be interpreted in the context of the politics that we've been witnessing at Eskom over time?
So, yes, I do think that there is a political undertone to what's taking place. And I say that tentatively because I'm not a political analyst, but I do notice in the news announcements from Pravin Gordhan that Eskom board should not wipe out or not consider anyone over the age of 60. So that indicates to me that he might have someone in mind for the CEO of Eskom. And in my opinion, it's not really Pravin Gordhan's place to tell the board of Eskom who to appoint. That's the board's decision in terms of who to appoint as CEO. So that alone is indicating to me that there's some political, I wouldn't call it interference, but some political dabblings that are going on with both the board and who is appointed as the CEO of Eskom.
And speaking to Chris Yelland a little earlier on, and about some of the reports that we've seen about the apparent tensions and the deterioration in relationship, according to some of the reports between the minister and the outgoing board chair, he alludes to the fact that that may be one of the contributing factors, as well as the over-complex of governance structures when it comes to dealing with the issue of Eskom. And I wonder, what are your thoughts on that?
Yes, I would agree with Chris Yelland's analysis, and I very much, pretty much am aligned to his opinion regarding the energy sector and where we're going and what things are, what's happening in the country, especially the projection of 5 years of load shedding going forward. My projection is actually that load shedding is going to double over the next 5 years. But with regards to this, I do see that there's too much structure that's being implemented on top of what's already processes that are meant to be followed by Eskom. So there's kind of political dabbling that's coming in from outside, which isn't meant to be there. And it seems like there's influence that's attempting to be made from the government about the happenings of Eskom, and now what we're seeing is pushback against that and differences of opinion where the chairperson is resigning as he's not really agreeing with what's taking place. That's my assumption. I cannot put evidence to that at this moment, but it seems like there's a tension between Pravin Gordhan and the current chair that has just left.
And Matthew, all of this, South Africans watch it and they say, but all we just want are the lights on. That's all we want, lights on consistently. How much of what is happening, though, at the top, all this, reported bickering and the tensions that are apparent is going to hinder that dream and that ask from South Africans?
Yes, that's very good commentary. This is hindering the progress of trying to get out of this energy crisis that we're in. And, the company I work for, Hohm Energy, it's a company I went to on purpose from Eskom, is we're providing the solution to load shedding for the individual, for homes and businesses to get solar, and now through solar subscriptions. And unfortunately, I'm seeing that as an industry that's going to be expanding for the next 15 years because of what's going on with how Eskom is being dealt with how the energy transition is being dealt with, how the energy crisis is being dealt with. It's all very delayed and reactive, and a lot of scrambling around, but not in the correct direction, in my opinion. In my opinion, I think what should be done to solve the energy crisis is a feed-in tariff, allowing citizens to provide their own electricity to the grid and get rewarded for that. That was seen to great effect in Vietnam, and that's something that Hohm Energy is very much here to help the country with. So while the government is doing things, and we've seen all the SOEs fail from the government side, the private sector, represented by myself and Hohm Energy, we are stepping up to solve the problem by providing solar solutions one house at a time.
I know we're out of time, but I can't let you go without asking you this particular question. I mean, this is an entity that is yet to appoint a permanent CEO. And I wonder, when it comes to this over-complex governance structure, how much of that also poses a risk, because it's finding itself without this permanent figure, and it now sits with a chair of the board who is going to be taking over from Mpho Makwana?
Yes, so this is very much a job that is almost unwanted in the country. And I can say that with confidence, because when Andre de Ruyter was being looked at for joining the company and they were going on a drive to see who can be the next CEO, some information that I had that I was privy to was that 23 black industrialists were approached to be the CEO of Eskom, and they turned down the position because they knew it was a death knell for their career. And so in that context, now how much worse is it to step into this position of CEO coming from the outside? My opinion, the best thing that can happen is someone's promoted from within Eskom that is technically competent and knows about engineering excellence and how to solve the problem, and is elevated to a position of leadership, someone with integrity that's worthy of the position from within Eskom. But it remains to be seen whether that will actually take place.